YouTube. How are we? Welcome back. Kind of want to go into some post FOMC analysis and kind of what I was seeing prior to the actual day of today, and then kind of what's after the rest of the week, especially with NFP and everything like that. So, ignoring all these scribbles, start over. The biggest thing they want to point out was I was originally looking for this FEG specifically on the 2 hour to be hit. You have BISI here, as well as just overnight sweeping the lows, but before we had any of them, and kind of just what we had going into the close of yesterday, of Tuesday specifically. When you're looking at this range here, and you're coming from a very, very large order block move essentially, or expansion downwards, if you're going to be looking for a retracement, it should be to a premium array. Now if you're going to look at, say, even the dealing range of here to here, low to high, just understanding that the last up candle was all the way up here. This is where you can expect the market to retrace to for deep retracements, because they'll be hitting order blocks to actually make the move that it needs to. So that was kind of the target and everything for FOMC going into that day. So especially, admittedly hindsight now, looking at these lows getting manipulated, I was really looking for us to stay up here in FOMC, either trade sideways, something overnight for Thursday, and then can LR back down through. Now because we already retraced all the way back down, and this being a still larger move, the only reason it would start something like that early is if it needs to do the time, if it needs time, and it has to move somewhere else. So now that we've been moving, kind of just staggering up overnight, especially as we're going into New York session and everything like that, what I really want to point out is on the 30-minute here that we have, they're making some type of reference point off of this fair value gap, or just this gap in general, really. So Thursday into Friday of last week, I want to point out the kind of delivery we've had here in terms of balance, or just in general. You get sell side, buy side here, all this is cool. That's wonderful. Gaps above, you're now this wide here. You get a buy body, sell body. One buy body, your second sell body. Now, if this, we're going to assume, is turtle and has no business coming here to this high, the only thing we should really be looking for is another buy body through here to give it an even count. Somewhere in here. Ideally to line up with kind of the balancing of the range itself here. And look for some type of buy or green bullish body to trade through here during RTH. And especially with it trading all the way back to like these two order blocks down here. And again, it's the same concept that we just mentioned on NAS on the 2 hour. Trading all the way back up, or at least very, very deep towards the order block as you have for that move. So if you go to like back to 15-minute that we were just looking at, same thing here. You have the down close candles in the large expansion away. You can look for retracements back into that inefficiency, in this case the order block or the FEG. But there really wasn't an FEG here. So when you're looking for those deep type of retracements, that's what you can kind of look for. Very, very least trade to the opposite close candle or the FEGs with them. So with that said, I'm kind of just expecting some type of RTH move up in here. It doesn't have to sit here long. I believe, let's look at the news real quick. So there really isn't much besides unemployment at 8:30. So as we're kind of going into tomorrow, and especially because of this type of movement that we're having overnight, now that we're having it live, very, very interested in seeing if we can do anything with that reference point up here, get some type of buy body. Now if we're looking at this on a 30, we need a 30-minute buy body, and again during regular trading hours. So what that means is you should be waiting at least until 9:30 for any type of short. That's not going to mean immediately long this up to here. You can if you want to, just take like a 1-to-1 on a micro lot. But practically, the larger expansionary move should be still to the downside. Especially now that we have been swiping this and everything like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for the rest of the week. Especially if NFP wants to be really nasty. And again, the FOMC move being this fast and not wanting to sit up here overnight and balance anything out, just immediately reprice, has me less inclined to expect any type of retracement or anything up into here. We could be looking for something anywhere here during regular trading hours, and then just moving away, or seeing some type of sideways, and NFP can drive through this. Or even if it wants to bottom out here off of this for whatever reason, it's still plenty of move for NASDAQ. Especially if we only get some type of RTH movement here, and then we get a closure back inside of this range or anything here, or if it doesn't want to break this day's low, very, very likely that we can just float, and then NFP will actually be the thing to send us through it. If it wants to wait for a catalyst like that. But even then, you're talking about a 300, 400 point move. You can definitely bottom out here. You can really run down all the way to this if you absolutely need to. But the only way that can really happen is kind of similar to the last NFP. Not the last one, but it might have been April's, honestly. Oh, it was a CPI. It was one of them where Dixie rallied and indices. It actually, I might be thinking of October's NFP, to be honest. But that's not here nor there. But if the report comes in really, really trash, it could very easily be the thing that just sends everything lower all at once. Or at least American market-wise. But this sell side here, if you're going to not waste it, likely get some type of fake move upwards even, and then downwards movement after. But we'll see come 8:30 and everything like that if it wants to break this low, or if it wants to push past this low and then hover. It's very, very likely that NFP will allow it to be some type of rifle through back through, even if it wanted to the CPI range. That would be a lot to ask, but considering Monday's open, we're still above it. We're still above the weekly open, guys. So maybe not. If you're gonna play the Power 3 idea and everything, and you've already buy stops previous week's high, the only thing you should really immediately be looking at is previous week's low. And yes, CRT, 3 candles. If you know, you know. But for now, that's kind of the plan going in for the rest of the week. If anything super duper changes Thursday, I'll probably mention it somewhere, but as of right now, that's pretty much the type of plan. But has to be a buy body coming through here during RTH. So either wait swing puts or do whatever you want, but don't be looking for shorts early. Do not look for them early. So like 8:30 news, especially for unemployment, should not be the end point of the move. So for example, last week London that still set high a day. New York was just the OTE for it, and again, it still ended up moving down during RTH. So really looking for the same type of thing. Type of 1-to-1 would be kind of sick. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan for right now, and we'll see what happens.